Where there is smoke, there is fire.
He had an injury on this side.
A signal of what's raging on exit 3 of a busy Dallas Highway 75.
I was walking by it, and it went boom, just like you see in the movies.
Fire consumes. What is left is a smoldering carcass of a motorcycle and a small group of people.
Because he went by me like, vroom.
Unbelievable.
Sharing.
No helmet.
Wondering.
Plus, he was in a racing position, crouched over the motorcycle.
I heard him through my earphones.
He cut across 2 lanes between 2 cars.
What many heard and saw, this woman felt
Exit off to go to Central Market.
to the back of her car.
He did a number on that boy.
Of all days, the last day of the year.
What a freaking way to say Happy New Year! Yeah!
And then there were things witnesses saw that cannot be unseen.
A good 30, 40 yards. I mean, he just went tumbling.
And he started rolling. And I was like, oh, am I watching this for real? Like,
Yeah, I know.
The rider of this charred out motorcycle is not here.
that don't make no sense.
That man told me he'd getting him for hitting and run.
Oh.
Witnesses say jumped inside a car.
And then he took off.
Dallas police says it's investigating a hit and run,
I saw that blood coming from the side of his head.
a scene too familiar on Highway 75.
And he was acting like somebody did it to him.
Exactly. That's how they normally do.
People here in very short time have bonded,
Bless her heart. She is beautiful.
Yes, she's been a good baby.
connected in chaos. We forget smoke signals are the oldest forms of communication and connection.
All right, girl, you got this.
Thank you.
You welcome.
Where there is smoke,
Keep in touch.
Yes. Okay.
Joe Panic. Channel 8 News. Time. It seems to move slowly when we wait. Nobody has an appetite for waiting. At least not here on the first floor of the Dallas County Courthouse.
It's a media frenzy, I'll tell you that. My stomach has been in knots all day.
Waiting only builds more drama to a story that doesn't need any more.
I think this grand jury is it's taking its time. It's such a high-profile case.
Here, one side's wait is for a murder indictment.
And anything less would be a miscarriage of justice.
2 days of grand jury testimony behind 2 large double doors with warnings.
I think the family deserves for it to be quick.
And huddled around that door,
The DA only needs
reporters, working away, anxious for any development. Amber Geiger was a Dallas police officer. Off duty, she shot and killed Botham Jean. Says she thought she was in her own apartment, but it was Botham's.
It's been a very difficult 3 days after a difficult 3 months for this family.
Botham Jean supporters are waiting too.
The waiting isn't an issue as much as the outcome.
And then news that the outcome will have to wait another day.
In the shooting case of former Dallas
Grand jury comes back Friday.
We have time. I have time. I'll be back up here.
First, it was Jean's family to leave. The media would slowly follow until the halls were empty.
This is going to send a message to America, what happens here in Dallas, Texas.
As we wait, the world does too. Jobin Paniker, Channel 8 News.
We apologize for the delay in answering your call.
Have you ever been stuck before?
Been flying for 35 years. I've never had an experience like this.
I'm talking 0 miles per hour and solutions.
We're not making it.
Hey, go, go, go! Are tough to come by.
I hope their stock goes down because this sucks.
Well, anyone flying into or out of DFW Airport the last 24 hours can say, been there.
The plane never arrived.
Done that.
If I ran my business like this, I'd be bankrupt. Overnight.
A massive storm halted operations at America's second largest airport last night.
There's 148 people trying to fly standby.
Elizabeth Rodriguez spent 10 hours on a plane yesterday. From inside the terminal, she said 7 hours were spent on the tarmac.
Another one, and then another one, and then from there they changed the time and time again. And finally, they canceled the flight.
And this?
This is for problems. You're going over here for other stuff.
We all have problems. That's why we're in the line.
Amy Ormsby wasn't shy about her travel nightmare.
We have been trying to get his bag since 1 o'clock, and everybody just kind of passes the buck. Listen, Michael, because I love you, and I know you're stressed out, and I'm stressed out.
Her son is in the Navy, And turns out his checked bag is lost somewhere in the air.
I'm not moving from here until we get something resolved.
There's a Louis Vuitton bag floating around somewhere in a plane right now. I don't know where it is.
And patience wasn't easy to come by.
This is a line of angry travelers, and they're trying to get rescheduled on something. You can't see the end of the line.
Aaron Hahn stood in it.
I'm on about 2 days trying to get home. I've had 7 flights canceled.
And now he's in another line.
Thank you for holding.
After 48 hours here, the Memphis native is done.
At this point, I just want my bags and I'm driving. I've been better. I need to find my luggage.
And things aren't expected to get back to normal until Saturday.
I have to go and wait in another line to take care of it in Memphis. You guys are very disorganized. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So if you're someone trying to navigate this mess,
Incompetence.
Super frustrated.
We're leaving.
Godspeed.
I've had enough.
We are humbled and grateful that you're here with us to remember what gave David hope.
Some things are hard to prepare for.
I already have tears, and it hasn't even started, so.
Today is going to be tough.
Oh, I'm going to squall.
For a lot of people.
But I want to be here.
We should be easily 20, 30 feet off the ground.
When a first responder dies, it shakes us to the core.
This flag was at every funeral.
The bottle needs to go to my left.
Just outside the service,
we're going to raise the flag up.
Steve Hardy never wishes for today.
And so it's personal.
And sadly,
keep going.
He's prepared too often.
Dave loved me with everything he had, and he did everything he could to make me happy.
Officer David Sherrard with Richardson Police died responding to a shooter.
He hurt 3 families.
A family man of faith.
Let go.
He was a warrior. He was selfless. He was a leader. He lived that way. And he died that way.
Tiene su celular.
People have been waiting here at Gallatin Parkway in 75.
For a closer look, to feel a little bit more of a part.
The place where the procession will ultimately pass through. But that procession will start here, where Steve had the job of raising the flag.
Kind of validates a life. That's the best way I can put it. It validates that person's life.
Yeah, here it comes. I think the first vehicle is just coming down the road.
There's validation for people here too.
It's breathtaking.
Wow. A caravan of brothers and sisters escort a fallen officer to a final resting place.
Yeah, I've been here, 3 hours more now. Yeah, waiting. It was worth it.
We do not like preparing for today.
I would not have missed it.
Because today simply should not happen.
Not at all.
Joden Paniker, Channel 8 News.
It's your mommy.
Her name is Tina.
I haven't seen you in a long time. It's because I've done some pretty bad things.
And her message in tears are for the children she worries might not remember her name.
I had to go away for a little while, but as soon as I get a chance, I'll come back.
She lives here, the Hilltop Unit, a women's prison in Gatesville in Central Texas.
Our program is at 5 prisons in Texas, 5 women's prisons.
Just up the road from a corner convenience store, where a group of ladies on a Saturday morning talk through their plan over lunch.
At the end, they record.
You need the titles of the book.
It's so important.
The plan to give Tina and other women like her a chance to be moms again.
Thank you, everybody, for doing what you're doing, and we're helping lots of kids today.
All right, so I'm going to call off your names.
Once they make it behind the razor wire and inside a prison education building,
We break it into smaller groups so that everything goes more smoothly.
the volunteers gather 25 inmates, women whose crimes and convictions came at a cost to their innocent children too.
I've been gone for 6 years, so they're growing up without.
I don't know which one.
They're offered a library of children's books.
You can start with a personal message. Make this a message to your child.
It records you. There's the little mic right there.
The voice of a mom and inmate recorded to a flash drive.
Very well.
Their voices then burned to CDs and mailed with the books to their children wherever they might be. But why should you care about these inmates?
Love can be loud.
Women like Fort Worth's Lucy Beasley.
Drugs.
Drugs?
Selling drugs, yes.
Who admits her bad choices left a 5-year-old boy behind.
Isaiah probably don't remember who I am.
Or Maisha Garcia.
Manslaughter.
I felt as if my mother was hugging me.
Here on a 10-year sentence for a fatal domestic violence fight with a boyfriend she claims was self-defense.
We've come a long way, and I love you. I wasn't expecting to cry.
Well, that's a nice story.
And then they get to hear their mother. So it's a pretty special thing.
For Judith Dolnig, this is the 15th year of the Storybook Project, keeping moms who will get out of prison someday connected with their children.
Anywhere.
Bridging the years with books and recorders and CDs until reformed and repentant they can resume being a mom in person.
Me being here has not changed my mind about who I am in their life, which is their mom.
She knows she's just doing something good for her child. But then when they go home, maybe that bond has been strengthened.
Just know that I'm doing all that I can to keep connected with you guys, and I love y'all and I miss y'all very much.
And in Commerce, Texas, an hour northeast of Dallas, last Wednesday, Judith Dolnig delivered Maisha's voice in person.
Hi. My name is Judith. And
to an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old living with their grandmother.
Thank you. You're welcome. There's something inside for both of you.
I picked this book out especially for you, and I hope you like it.
Girls clinging to the books and recordings with both the joys and the tears they bring.
I'll tell you about myself. My name is Susan.
Until the day Mom comes back.
I am in grade 2 now.
It feels good. It seems like she's here.
I want to go to the washroom. That's why I
used to crawl to the door.
I want to say that I miss her and I love her, and I wish she was here right now.
When the teacher turned her head and looked at the other side of the room.
And I would never want them to lose contact with their mom. Yes, ma'am.
But for inmates like Tina Dominguez from Waco, this is more complicated.
You ready to go?
She's in prison for injury to one of her children.
My stomach was queasy and I couldn't eat my cereal.
A paternal grandmother has legal custody now.
It's my hope that when they hear it, they see me. They see the mom before I got hooked on drugs, the mom before I got arrested. See how shiny they are? I just want them to know that I love them. They're amazing. They're everything that I ever wanted, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was thoughtless, and I was careless, and I was selfish. And I guess it's just my way of letting them know that I'm still here.
Dear reading buddy.
And so,
my teachers,
they read,
tall like a tree,
hoping their children get a chance to listen and have a mom to look forward to.
I love you forever. I like
So everybody wins. The prison, good behavior, the mother, and especially the child.
Sometimes when you do bad things, you have to suffer the consequences. And right now, that's what's happening. When the sun peaks up,
consequences learned, consequences shared.
Turn the page.
Until the day a mom and the child serving this sentence, too, can try starting over again.
But the bear snores on. Turn the page.
In Gatesville, Texas, Kevin Reese, Channel 8 News.
I love you.
My friends, let nothing break your spirit today.
The solemn commemoration of a national tragedy.
Peter Johnson.
Peter Johnson, give me the name again.
Reverend Peter Johnson. I worked on Dr. King's staff, and I was here 50 years ago.
601.
601, yeah. That's why I keep watching my watch.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
He's been coming back here every 10 years since 1968.
And Dr. King, he was killed 50 years ago here in Memphis, Tennessee.
How many? One? Okay.
Well, it's an honor for me to be able to come back here, especially with some of the students in my civil rights class.
We're here with Reverend Peter Johnson, who marched with Martin Luther King. For him, it's a painful moment to be here.
We have information that King has been shot. The shot was fired from a brick building directly across from the Lorraine on the east side.
The shock of what happened here 50 years ago.
To be on what I consider sacred ground.
He was lied on, spat upon, turned on, yet somehow, some way, he would not give up.
I'm painting the Lorraine Motel, the location where MLK was assassinated on the balcony.
How many? 2. 2, okay. I got 2 next. You guys are good to go.
They let me in for $16. Y'all want to do it?
No, I don't think I want to face that. That'll be just too painful.
The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was shot to death by an assassin late today as he stood on a balcony in Memphis, Tennessee.
The gravity of the moment is very immense. This was the ending of someone's life, but the beginning of their legacy.
Those memories are not good memories for me. And the memories would make me cry, so I don't want to face that. I just don't want to do that now.
I have some very sad news for all of you. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
They risk their lives so that you will have equal opportunities no matter what color you are.
Now it's the Civil Rights Museum, but they kept it in its original form. I mean, even the cars that were outside are still there. It probably won't even hit me till after the fact. I'm just excited to be doing what I love. I love to paint.
It's healing time. It's hope time.
So people won't die?
Huh?
So people won't die?
Well, so people will be treated equal. We don't want anybody to die anymore, okay? Okay. All right.
To stand here looking at the balcony, it's challenging to stand here, you know?
Evil sought to stop him, only to find out that a bullet could silence his voice, but not his message. We may not have been here 50 years ago, but we're here now, continue his legacy.
In this difficult day, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Each plastic part takes a little perfection.
I wouldn't be able to do this to metal.
To make it fit precisely.
Yep, that's the way it should be. Still a little tight. Yeah, it looks like it'll work.
Michael Lynn is assembling a plastic gun he just printed at his 3D printing business in North Fort Worth.
I don't know exactly what it's going to take to make it work, but we're going to find out.
And as courts consider whether an Austin man can publish gun blueprints online, Michael says many plans are already out there, including this one. A basic pistol called the Liberator. It's all plastic from the barrel to the springs.
I was able to print multiple parts at a time, and it took more than 36 hours to get all the prints off.
36 hours and $10 worth of plastic to print 13 pieces that Michael can assemble into a gun.
So this is the Liberator pistol.
It is that convenience that worries critics.
This is the trigger mechanism.
But the quality of fully printed firearms like this one here.
Here is a completely assembled Liberator gun.
That's another issue.
People have test fired this gun and it blows up on the very first bullet that they put through it. And a lot of people are holding this in their hand, and that's like holding an M80. You know, it's just very dangerous.
We took Michael to Eagle Gun Range in Farmers Branch.
Welcome to Eagle. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Where owner David Prince wanted to see that firearm for himself.
That's awesome. Right.
And agreed to let Michael test fire it. Michael added a 1-inch roofing nail as the firing pin.
It's going in fine.
And then inserted a .380 caliber bullet into the barrel. On the range, we set up several cameras to see what would happen.
Oh, all right.
As David Prince
oh yeah, that's
right
good.
There, that's good.
Put that pistol in a vise and tied a string around the trigger.
Okay, good.
All right, firing pin's in. I need to get everybody's eyes in the ear zone. Going hot.
Wow.
Everybody all right?
There it is.
All okay? Everybody clear?
First reaction
is wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Watch it again here in slow motion. The gun blows itself apart. Plastic pistol exploding in every direction.
I'm glad we used the string.
This is not a gun that people are going to want to print and use, especially not when it blows up in your hand more times than it doesn't.
Oh, here's the spring.
Parts of that gun lay scattered all over the floor.
2 pieces over here. And then we have the muzzle 25 yards down in the berm. Looks like the bullet actually exited.
Sure, technology will improve. Until then, though, both men doubt that people will invest in printers to create inferior firearms. Jason Whiteley, Channel 8 News.
Lance Donahoe wasn't going to be part of this story until it landed on his doorstep.
When something kind of falls in your lap, it's hard to ignore. This message landed in my yard for some reason. I didn't know what, but I certainly was curious.
It happened a few weeks ago when out of the sky, a balloon floated through the trees.
Found it right here.
Lance, a business coach and trainer, was on his way out the door when he found it.
Walked over and found a note covered in dew and read it, and was immediately realized what I had in my hand was a very special message.
The note was signed by 2 little girls who lived just 4 miles away in Bedford.
It's okay.
7-year-old Gypsy Reddick
Yeah.
and 6-year-old Story Reddick.
Sissy, it's time for bed.
They're sisters, and although they intended on someone receiving their balloon, that yard was not the destination.
We saw it going down. It didn't go up to heaven.
The girls meant that balloon for their daddy in heaven. Skylar Reddick died in 2017, the result of a car accident nearly 10 years earlier.
I just love him a lot.
And the girls
Me too.
have sent him notes on his birthday each year since. On this balloon, Story wrote, "Dear Dad, we want to go up with you. We miss you so much."
A note to Daddy. Yeah.
More than anything, the girls wanted their dad to know he's still very much on their hearts.
That's coming super slow. We're still thinking about him. And,
Perhaps a sign that he was listening. When they released that balloon, the letter S, Skylar's initial, was in the clouds.
He was caring and loving, and he loved being a dad.
If his daughters needed something, Skylar was the type of dad who would do anything to be there for them, especially now.
I know. Wait.
A couple months ago, Story started having seizures.
I know, baby.
And this year, on her dad's birthday, the day after they released that balloon, she was admitted here at Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth. Story has spent weeks being poked, prodded, and examined. The medical bills alone are overwhelming, and doctors still don't know what's wrong. But they are certain it's a form of epilepsy. And it was during that recent visit to Cook Children's in Fort Worth that Lance Donahoe found that balloon. Lance, who has 2 children of his own, posted about it on Facebook.
I felt somewhat responsible. This balloon landed in my yard.
Within hours, it had been shared more than 100 times.
They kept asking, how can we help? It was suggested to start a GoFundMe page.
In just a few days, Lance and his friends on Facebook raised more than $3,000 for these girls. They're also working to provide Story with an epileptic service dog.
There we go.
All of it possible thanks to a father who answered their prayer.
I think we all have an opportunity every day to be the answer to somebody's prayer.
So this is her dress.
I'd have to say it was definitely their dad looking over them. There's no doubt in my mind.
It feels good to know that he's seeing us and knowing what we're saying to him.
And because of that guardian angel, they now have a piece of heaven on earth.
Do this, Gypsy.
John Giggy, Channel 8 News.
Welcome.
This is the coolest place you'll ever come.
They test your creativity.
You know, make it punny. The punnier, the better.
Your sense of humor. And maybe most of all,
This is just make sure to keep everybody safe so that everyone leaves with all their fingers and toes.
your courage.
We have not had an accident. We teach people how to throw axes and relax.
Ready? 1, 2.
Somehow, it is relaxing and exhilarating to throw a sharp object, made sharper every day, at a target and hit it.
Knew you had it. It's something about when it hits, it just takes stress with it.
They look at us like we're nuts until they get the axe in their hand and they throw it for the first time. They're like, where has this been all my life?
What about that? What about that?
Dallas Axe Throwing was the first club of its kind to bring this trend to North Texas.
Do you want to come take a closer look?
Sporting leagues are now forming, and it's a popular place for parties. People cut loose here, and even let loose of some deeply held frustrations.
I mean, I won't say names, but everyone's got at least someone that they think about.
2, 3.
They are serious about safety. You learn from experts called...
I'm an expert. AXEPERT. So an expert is basically just someone who is knowledgeable and proficient in axe throwing itself.
With his plaid flannel shirt and dark beard,
See what you can do with them this round.
Daryl Swanson certainly looks the part, but he's lived it too.
You want to throw it straight for your target. So
A competitive knife and axe thrower all his life.
Straight for it.
He's now finding joy in teaching
It makes you feel good watching the stress literally roll right off.
and seeing people, especially women, surprise
I really did that. This was me.
and empower themselves.
Seriously.
No girl throws an axe. You don't know of girls who throw axes. Oh, I do. And I'm one of them and proud to be.
I have a good team.
That's a trend
Better!
Oh man, it's nothing but joy.
that needs to stick. Teresa Woodard,
You got it on the board. Grab your axe.
Channel 8 News.
Beautiful job, guys.
Serenity can feel scarce in a city. It is just as rare to spot one of these in the wild at White Rock Lake.
I see about 2 or 3 every single year, just to kind of put it in perspective, and I'm out here every day.
But one of the most colorful things at the lake is also one of the most mysterious.
Oh, there was one.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch.
I always just thought at first when I was little that it was just like somebody's house pet that got out. But then as you get older and you see that there's like a multitude of them, you're like, how the heck did these get here?
This is one of the lake's enduring mysteries. Where did a colony of parakeets
I've gotten some good ones.
come from?
I take pictures of them all the time.
Like many, Lori Gibson has seen them for years.
My daughters love to look at them. I've seen probably about 100 parakeets out here and just one bald eagle.
Officially, they're called the monk parakeet.
There's nothing here like it.
Native to South America and often nest in the electrical lines at the south end of the lake. But no one is clear how they got here.
So there are a couple of theories out there. The first is maybe these parakeets were once pets, somehow got out of their cage years ago and then flew away. The other idea people have talked about for a long time is maybe this was a collection of parakeets on their way to a Dallas pet store that somehow got away during delivery after perhaps their crate broke open.
They're not migrating birds, so they don't migrate, to warmer climates. They're here, and they're here all year long.
Hanging out, making nests.
And they are vocal.
The squawk.
Even if you don't see them, Carla Ray says you'll likely hear them.
Many years ago, I would hear them in Forest Hills. They're very distinct with their "ack." You can even hear them right now.
Every few days, she puts out a scoop of seed.
They eat seed pods, grasses, but if you're going to feed them, safflower is their favorite.
Monk parakeets enjoy the warmth of electrical substations and safety of cell phone towers.
The heat will sustain them over the winters.
They're not a big colony at all here in Dallas, but still a unique population that has thrived.
They're pretty skittish.
Mostly around a lake on the edge of the city.
He's getting ready. Here he goes.
That already has a lot to see. Jason Whiteley, Channel 8 News.